Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Last night, I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed again. J. Anthony Brown at Club Doche's, 529 Cypress, Texas. We're on the move. What's up, PV? It don't stop. Boy from the 6, low key. Gino, Hummer 2G, Marcus Mudd. What's up, Quay? The whole Langman Creek, man. Highway 6, Cypher area, South Park. It don't stop. H-Town, we rolling. Y'all had a good time, man. I enjoyed myself, man. J. Anthony Brown was funny. J. Anthony Brown said he quit before they fired him. Why roll? I roll. But good people, man. Definitely good people. And you might see him wearing one of those Consequence shirts from the book, man. Vince Cole Muhammad, man. I shot him a shirt, told him, wear it for your boy as you traveling throughout these different cities doing your thing. So, today, we conversing on the meaning of life. And what is the meaning of life? Because as the years starts rolling in on you, you start looking for things that bring you more excitement, or you start looking for what's the purpose of life? What is this thing all about, man? What are we really actually doing? Are we here just to make money? Are we here just to work for our children? Or are we here to enjoy this life and have fun? But the question is, how do you enjoy this life and have fun to where you don't encounter a great deal of stress? And truth. The simple thing is truth. If you are wondering why I keep saying, well, Brother Farrakhan said this or Brother Farrakhan said that, not that I'm worshiping Brother Farrakhan, because I don't get into idol or people worshiping. It's just that I understand the value of truth. So when I got to searching for the truth, and it's in books, then you would search for truth in who's out in the public view that's actually delivering straight up truth that you can take and apply to your life. And that will give you a 180-degree turn from where you at onto the path of righteousness and onto the path of prosperity or abundance. Brother Farrakhan, if you don't believe me, I want you all to just take this test. If you think I'm lying, go to YouTube or Google Farrakhan and just close your eyes, right? And just hit a speech. Just hit a lecture. It don't even matter which one, just hit it. And then come back and tell me if not every word in there was true. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go find out to see if it was true. Then you'll come back and say, and then it will be true that you haven't heard and didn't know prior to hearing it coming from Brother Farrakhan. Now, why is that? Because we as a people, we're in a unique situation. Let me break that down. We're the only people in the planet, that ever been in the planet, that's been snatched from their original homeland, brought among strangers in a foreign land that spoke a different language, eating food that's not their own. When you go back and do the research, you'll find out that the people who were in bondage, but they were in bondage in a land that they knew and in a language that they also spoke and could understand by the captors. So we're the only unique situation that's been brought 9,000 miles to the wilderness of North America with a new language now, new land amongst strange people. See, the people back in those old and ancient times, they knew the people, they knew the customs. When we first arrived to what they call Americas, we didn't We didn't know these people. We didn't know the customs. We didn't know the customs of English ways, of how they did things. I mean, we still to this day do things different because we haven't bought in 100% to all of the culture that they tried to put upon us when we first arrived here, or upon our arrival. For those who, want the literary correctness. But we didn't look. The food, the seasoning, different. Our style of doing things is different. The music was different from the music that was here. The drum beat was different. Now, of course, now you have Europeans that's into rap music and the culture and whatnot, but you didn't have that back then because culture is language, or let's say rhythm, beat. Beat is language. Music is language because it's a communication. Language is to communicate. So sometimes when you have, and I would trip on this. I'm still struggling with it today to see white rappers, because in my mind sometimes I feel like, damn man, every time y'all get into our musical culture, which came directly from the mystery systems, you get a hold of it and all of a sudden it's whited out, such as rock and roll. You see it in jazz, you see it in other forms of music, and it's like, damn man, where I was at, we started, we let them in, they take it over, and then years later, our kids are looking for a job, white kids are rapping, and they'll be #1 on the Billboard. And the most we can do, man, is hopefully to get booked a gig at a spot where we can at least show our talent in front of 100, 200 people. Y'all, you think I'm lying? Watch the movie Shaka Zulu when he's dealing with there's a part 1 and part 2, he's dealing with the British. And they're talking about the Brits coming to Africa. And he said, well, who will call this home? My children or generations, or will your children or generations call Africa home? Will they call themselves Africans? Who will be the Africans? My people or your people? And if you notice in time, you go to South Africa and certain places, especially in Zulu lands, you see a lot of white people. And they moving in, So not saying that cultural mixing or whatnot, I'm not down in that on the sense. I'm just simply saying that for a people all over this planet who tries to maintain the longest culture or the longest way of life on the planet, meaning our people go back to the beginning of time, and to try to keep that moving forward into the future, it's being it's being challenged. It's challenging now because, for one, we don't take pride in it, and we'll sell it out to the highest bidder. So then what do we have left? So when you got brothers like Brother Farrakhan who will say, okay, here's the mathematics, here's the science, here's where you will be if you don't do so and so, and here's where you will be if you do so and so, and here is the origin of where it all started, here's the root. And then you say, well, why you give us the root? Because if you're going to change a thing, you have to go to the roots. You don't just get a limb and just pull a fruit and then you think you got the root, or you got the embodiment of the tree, or what the tree stands for. He would break that down. Break down cause and effects, consequence. All that is a gift to us as a people, because the soul of man is in the temple of man, which meaning that the spirit is clothed in flesh. Or let's say you are God's body, or the essence of God is in the individual. But the reason why they suffer is because they have a lack of knowledge. The reason why they have a lack of knowledge is because others need to use that God energy as a tool for their own benefit and their purpose. Now you can't get mad at them. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You the one aligned yourself up to be vulnerable in that essence. Why do I say that? Because we came directly from the Creator, but then we began to disagree. Why would we need to disagree with one another if everything was set for us and the Creator created us? The water was here, land, vegetation. You disagreeing on what? Who's closer to God? Vanity. I mean, really, what were we disagreeing about? I got more money than you have when it all comes out of the ground. I mean, what are we really at odds about if you look at the whole picture? On that note, remind you, go check out the book Consequence by Vince Cole Muhammad. Get your copy. Knowledge is power. Let's keep building, and always remember, I'm not the one for big. I don't like the big camera, the fanfare, and the whole nine. Man, that is stressful. It's a headache. Sometimes you want to sit back and just relax and go out and kick it with your fam. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just wanna sit at home and think and relax without being pulled. Hey, come over here, check this out, come over here, do this, come over here and do that. But yet at the same time, if God gives you something, share it with others. So it's all good, meaning everything is done in balance. Scale, check the scale. So, yeah. So, we're disagreeing on what accord. Now, if you're going to disagree on something that, in my mind, or just my opinion, then if it's something that you created and you know the blueprint of what you created, and someone says, well, no, you need to move that over here without justification on why you need to move it over here, but just because they said so, then okay, we disagreeing. Because I need to see the math. I need to see the dimensions. I need to see if I move it from this spot to the spot you suggested. Let me go over the math. How many feet is that? Then how would that affect my product? How would that affect people who come in to seek my product? Would it put them at a further distance to the product, to where some may say, I don't want to reach that far, walk that far for it. I like things right in front of me, so I don't want that. They go on somewhere else. You know, what are we disagreeing about? Now that is a legitimate disagreement, because you're giving a suggestion, but you're not giving them the math, or you're not showing how this will become a plus, or how will this benefit the situation or the community or everyone as a whole. You just throwing something out there, so that's not gonna work. Give me some specifics. I need a plan. I need what you got. Now, if you saying, well, just trust me, something inside of me just said that, yeah, but I don't know your whole background, and that's the problem. I don't know if you living out of your higher self or if you living out of your lower self. I don't know if you believe in a mystery God. I don't know. So I don't want to risk what God gave me, meaning in the form of a thought, to set this thing up, to tear it down off a suggestion, off of someone who hasn't gave me the mathematics or the reasoning behind what should be done. You feel me? So that's what it's all about. And when we talk, we speak in planetary form, or let's say global form, because we are a global people. We might speak different languages. Why are we speaking different languages? Because we almost got destroyed by a scientist who wanted us to speak one language. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now when you view this thing and you sit back and you ponder and you say, well, what was the reason for all the different languages? They have a story of that Tower of Babel, but that's metaphorically speaking. They wasn't building no tower up into the heaven and the gods better. No, that's metaphorically speaking. But what I'm saying is, why did the scientists, or let's say, why were we speaking different languages if we came from one God? It's just a question. I'm just curious. What do we need all the different languages for? If we came from the one creator. So that means then that had to be part of our disagreement, or our disagreeable nature, or what they call free will. But I don't want to down free will, because free will is good. But in our, let's say, in our, not vanity, in our need to show a difference between two. You know what I mean? It's like you have a person, man. You can have two rocks sitting next to each other and they damn near identical. But you will have one that will find out the discrepancies, or they'll find out the defects in something. And some would say, well, that's not good. But then some would say, well, the defects will bring about a need or work attitude towards the perfection. So you need people on that end to point out where things can be improved upon. Then, okay, so sometimes people will point out something, they get upset, and then that'll create a separation or a split. You know, because now they're into their feelings. Or maybe at the time they were just discovering feelings. When we talking about in the beginning, when man was created by one God who taught them one language, and then we created different languages. For what purpose? We'll get back on that on a part 2 later on. Verbal Pick Radio, we out.